Thank you, Bob, and thank you all for being here. It's a treat to be here. I also want to thank, as I look around the room, my wife Chrissy and I started this campaign 19 and a half months ago, and as I look around the room, I see a lot of folks who have been helping us for a long time, and I'm very, very grateful for that, and very grateful for all those folks who in Dyer County who voted for us back on August 5th. I do want to introduce my wife Chrissy, who is here somewhere. Chrissy's from neighboring Shelby County, and we've been married 29 years. We had a romantic anniversary on a bus touring around Tennessee about 3 weeks ago, and today is actually my birthday, so if you ever wonder how romantic it is to be a candidate and how great fun it is, you spend a lot of time together on the road, which is a good thing. We face really serious challenges in Tennessee right now, and I'm thrilled to see how many people are here today, because I'm convinced that if we're going to make a dent in tackling the jobs challenge that we all face, we're going to do it through partnerships and efforts like the Chamber is doing here. I'll tell you how I view the Chamber. In Knoxville, we actually dropped our Economic Development Department, said we're going to do without it, and we subbed that work out to the Chamber of Commerce. And quite frankly, we formed a partnership there that saved the government money and has helped produce the lowest unemployment rate of any metropolitan area in the state of Tennessee, because we found folks who were good at what they did, were passionately committed to doing it well, and decided to partner with them. And the result, like I said, is not only hopefully produce more jobs, but also cut the expense out of government. We're doing actually a pretty good job in Tennessee. There's folks here from the Economic Development Department. In Tennessee, compared to other states around, we're doing a pretty good job. But the challenge is so big that we have to continue to look to say, how do we do it better? What are the things that we can do differently than we're doing now? A couple of suggestions I'd like to make. The first is this. We need to have a much more of a regional focus on job creation. You know, people talk about East, Middle, and West Tennessee and the rural urban. The reality is recruiting jobs to Dyer County or Carroll or Tipton looks very different than recruiting jobs to Shelby or Davidson or Blount or Knox in East Tennessee. We need to have a very specific regional approach. Now, it doesn't mean creating a whole new organization. As a matter of fact, it's just the opposite. We find folks, like those of you in this room, who are already working out producing jobs that understand their region and then apply the state's resources to help out there. For instance, we would come in and divide the state into 12 or 13 regions, have a very specific strategic plan for that region. So in here we'd say, okay, what are we going to do to make sure I-69 happens, or Kate's Landing, or some of the other things that Joe talked about. Those would be part of a very specific strategic plan for this region, developed locally with our own economic development folks from the state, those based here, and those in Nashville, local elected officials, local regional economic development folks, to put together a very specific strategic plan for this region. Second thing we would do differently, we'll have somebody that's specifically focused on economic development in our rural areas and small towns and the agriculture business. There's no question that those are the areas that are struggling the most when it comes to job creation. If you want to look around the state and look at the biggest pockets of unemployment, our rural areas and small towns are the ones suffering the most. So we need a very specific plan for that. And for the first time ever, we'll have a director-level person at economic development who will be focused on doing that. The third thing we want to do is tie in workforce development to jobs. We have a lot of things that we can compete very well with in Tennessee. We have no income tax. That's a good thing. We're a right-to-work state. That's a good thing. That helps us recruit jobs. We have a great geographic location. We have a great quality of life. All those things are easy to sell. The one thing that holds us back is often the education and development level of our workforce. We're in the process of changing that through the efforts of our community colleges, our K-12 institutions. There's some folks from our technical center here today that I spoke with. We're changing that, but we need to speed that up because, quite frankly, we're in a very competitive world. We're competing not just with a very difficult economy, but with other states around us who are working very hard to get our jobs. And when you have consolidating industries, oftentimes they're looking around to say, we're going to choose. We're either going to be in this state or that state. We want to make certain that they choose Tennessee. To do that, we do have to address, like I said, education. We can't be 42nd out of the 50 states in K-12 education. We can't have 30% fewer of our 30% smaller percentage of our population with a college degree than the national average of those folks with college degrees. We have to have a closer pipeline between K-12 and the technology centers to work that workforce out, to work that out. We can do that in Tennessee. How do I know that? Because I've lived that story. 52 years ago, my father started a very small business, one gas station. Today, we have over 20,000 employees spread across the country. I know from personal experience why this is a great place to base your business, because I've seen that and lived that story. I would love to be the chief salesperson for the state of Tennessee as we move to make Tennessee the very best location in the Southeast for job creation. Thank you again for hosting us, and thank you again for all your work, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you very much.